You've probably come across job openings that sound interesting. They sound like, wow, what a great job this would be. But then you notice that you're lacking some of what I'll just say are the desired qualifications. So the question is it okay to apply anyway? Well, in most cases, yeah, it's worth taking a chance. Of course, I am going to say there are some caveats, some exceptions, like if you have to be an attorney, you need a special skill, or maybe you need to be able to play something like a musical instrument. Otherwise, yeah, it's usually a matter of determining whether or not you can reframe your extensive background to address that employer's needs. In fact, what I find is that many employment advertisements are more like wish lists than precise formulas, so there is usually some room for flexibility, some consideration of soft skills. In this video, I'm going to take a look at three of what I think are the most common situations where people over 50 may be able to make the case for why they're a candidate worth considering. In this video, what we're going to do is we're going to look at the secret to applying for a job when you're underqualified, and that, my friends, that's up next right here on Over 50 TV. Welcome back to Over 50 TV. My name is Lou Reyes. Well, before the break, I said I'm going to take a look at three of the most common situations when people over 50 are underqualified for a position, but may still be able to make the case for why they're a good candidate, a candidate that is worth considering. And let's start with what I consider to be the most common situation. When you're changing careers, data from the Bureau of Labor Statistics shows that older workers are less likely to change careers as they age, less likely than their younger counterparts. But that doesn't mean that there aren't plenty of older workers who aren't switching careers. Some they'll do it because they want a less stressful job, or there are others, of course, who just want to pursue that passion that they've had for a long, long time. And then other workers, older ones, you know what? They just want to expand their knowledge and also get some more work experience. So when you're changing careers, when you're older and you're clearly underqualified, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you 4 steps that'll help you to make the switch. Research the field. Before you make a move, and especially before you make a big move like changing careers, do your research. You want to clarify the reasons for the switch so you can explain them to an employer as well as to yourself. And I don't have to tell you this. Look up data on starting salaries and employment prospects. This is particularly important because your starting salary may be, or I should say will probably be, significantly lower than the current salary or your current wage. You've got to determine if you can afford to make the career switch. Now, another step to take when you want to switch careers, well, I interview colleagues, professionals, people who are already working in the field that you're going to be going into or you want to go into. They're an important source for information. So attend networking events where you can make new contacts, join groups on LinkedIn, and reach out to someone whose profile looks interesting. Look for people whose age or maybe their age is close to yours. And also, one thing that's important when you're doing this is you're going to find potential allies or maybe even cheerleaders, people who will support you should they happen to be at the company that you're looking to join. Number 3, focus on transferable skills. Those soft skills. So review your resume to see how you can apply what you've done to your new area of interest. And I find this to be true. Many tasks are similar even when the job title changes. So knowing what your transferable skills are or your soft skills, that can become a great talking or a great selling point during your job interview. Now, another step that is important to take when you want to switch careers is to ask for referrals. Your current network, it's still an asset. So seek someone who can introduce you to other people who may be willing to share advice and job leads. And I often find there's someone in a network who's willing to go that extra mile to provide help. And that person, they could be a family member or a close friend, or maybe it's somebody who recently switched jobs and can identify with your new adventure. Finding someone like that can be very helpful, not only because they can share job hunting secrets, but also because, as that old saying goes, 2 heads are better than 1. Another reason people over 50 may be underqualified for a particular job is this. when you've been out of the job market. So you've been out of the job market for a long time. It's not too late to still impress employers with your talents and your accomplishments. I'm going to ask you to try some techniques. Techniques for highlighting your talents and also techniques that will help you to gain valuable experience. Technique number 1, volunteer your services. Build up your resume while you advance a worthy cause. You can do that by offering your assistance to a charity that you already support, or you can call your local volunteer clearinghouse and propose a project that will give you valuable experience. And you know that project? It can also earn you money. And I'm going to give you an example of something that I did a few years ago. I volunteered to help a local nonprofit cycling organization obtain sponsors. You know, I did this for a while. I was so good at selling sponsorships for them that they paid me a generous commission for every sale. And besides earning money for them, I also met a ton of great people and had a lot of fun. So don't rule out volunteering your services. It may turn out to be the best use of your time. Technique number 2, do an internship. If you saw that Robert De Niro and Hathaway film The Intern, you may think an older person interning at a young hip tech company is just more Hollywood fiction. But the fact is there are now internship programs specifically designed to reintroduce people to the workplace after a long employment gap. Internships or returnships, as some are being called, well, they help people restart their careers. And if you're interested in finding out more about a returnship, well, I suggest that you check out pathforward.org. They're a nonprofit organization that helps people restart their careers after time spent focused on caregiving. This organization says they work with companies to create and run mid-career internships that give professionals a jumpstart back to their careers. And I looked at their website. It says this: since 2016, we've worked with more than 100 companies to create return-to-work programs. That includes working with Amazon, Walmart, Netflix, Apple, SAP, NBC Universal, Verizon, PayPal, Intuit, and I imagine a whole lot of others. You know, roughly 80% of the participants in these programs, according to them, they've been hired by the companies where they completed their returnships. So please don't rule out internships. Contact companies where you would like to work and ask them about formal or maybe informal opportunities. Internships may be a great way for you to get your foot in the door. Another fairly logical step you can take when you've been out of the job market for a long time is technique number 3. Polish your cover letter. You know, I think sitting down with or having an online conversation with a career coach or a resume writing expert, why, I think it's a great first step when it comes to polishing your cover letter. Those experts, yeah, they do cost. They're going to cost a few bucks, but that investment will save you time and hopefully it'll send you or steer you in the right direction. You know, if you don't want to go that route, I suggest asking a friend or a family member who's in the job market, currently in the market, ask them for feedback. No matter which route you take, though, it is important to do your own research, or you can even watch YouTube videos for resume polishing tips. The third reason people over 50 may be underqualified for a particular job is this: when you're missing specific skills. But don't underestimate your soft skills, because they can be just as important as your college major or some computer knowledge that's required. Now, I'll say this, though. With a few extra steps, you may be able to prove that you can do that job even if you're unfamiliar with their business, or even if you don't know one of the software programs that are required, which, by the way, could be outdated by next year anyway. So do these things. Study the job description. Review the qualifications to see which requirements are essential and which are less significant. You know, an example could be, an international company. Yeah, they may like each employee to be multilingual, but it may not be a significant part of the position that you're seeking. So don't shy away from applying if you meet the basic requirements. Another thing, pick out keywords in the help wanted ad. Human resource departments, they're focusing more heavily on keywords these days, as you probably know. In fact, almost any time you apply for a job through an online form or a website, your application is almost certainly going into an applicant tracking system software. These ATSs, as they're known, they search your application for relevant keywords to decide which applicants make it through to the next round. So before you submit a job application, make sure your resume's relevant keywords match up with the ad's keywords. And if you can't find a way to get your keywords to match up, well, it just may be prudent to look elsewhere for a job. Another thing I would suggest continue learning. If you're scouring career ads and you find that you're consistently missing specific skills that are required for the job, the position, the career that you want, well, it's undoubtedly time to strengthen your qualifications. And I suggest finding out if there are on-the-job training programs at that company that you can take. I also suggest spending your free time taking online classes, and these are just some of the best moves you can take or you can make if you're older and if you want to stay relevant. And while we're on the topic of staying relevant, don't let your skills become outdated. It's always wise to keep your skills current, even when the reason to do so isn't obvious. In today's rapidly changing job market, you don't want to be left out in the cold. Well, there you go, folks. I've just shared with you the secrets to applying for a job when you're underqualified. And I want to leave you with some things to think about, and maybe I'll be repeating myself actually here. But if you believe you have all the basic requirements for the position, if you believe that you've got 80% or 90% of the basic requirements, I would still apply. And I know I've mentioned this throughout the video, but still apply for the position. Don't let the fact that you're missing a couple of the requirements, don't let that hold you back. And as I said, I have mentioned that, but I want to tell you the reasoning behind my statement here is this. I don't know what's going on behind the scenes. You send in your resume and who knows, maybe a person just left the company and your resume just comes in at the right time. Or maybe you pick up your cell phone, you call the company up and, you read the ad and you call up and you ask the HR manager or the hiring manager if the opening is still available. You know what? They might say, hey, you know what? Come on down. You just don't know what's going on behind that curtain. So yeah, give them a call or send in your resume, but apply for the position. Don't hold yourself back. That's all I've got for you today, folks. As I always ask, if you have a comment, please, in the comment box or comment section, please let me know what you're thinking. Also, I will ask you, if you would, subscribe to Over 50 TV. It's pretty easy to do. You've just got to hit that little red button. It's underneath the screen. Now, there's also a bell, a notification bell. If you hit that bell every single time I upload a new video, you'll be notified in your inbox. There's a thumbs up button. If you like the video, give me a thumbs up. If you didn't enjoy the video, well, you could always give me a thumbs down. Well, as I always say, have a great day, everybody.